Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about Masahiro Sakurai. Yes, the man, the myth, the legend behind the Super Smash Bros. Series, Kirby, and many other games in Nintendo's past and probably future, especially when it comes to Super Smash Bros. That being said, he did an interview with Nintendo Dream, and there are some interesting things that came up in this, including something that some people consider a little disturbing. Let's just read the interview for the full context, and then let's talk about it, because Sakurai might have a problem. So you keep the things that you want to reflect on, but you get rid of the sense of struggle. Sakurai goes, I have a lot of serious thoughts on my mind. However, I think Smash Ultimate is a success unlike anything thus far. As I said in the very beginning of our interview of last month's issue, I'm extremely grateful to all the fans. And then it goes, among these struggles, I would like to ask specifically, how did you take care of your health during the development of Smash Ultimate? Sakurai said, I made some changes from what I used to do compared to now. For example, as a principal, I always left the office by 10 p.m. no matter what. Many companies are discouraging extreme overtime these days too. Then it goes on and it says, it seems like every company in the video game industry is following suit with that method of management. Sakurai goes, if I had to say, I'm rather close with the companies I'm hired by, so I don't think I need any deadlines. Anyways, that's probably been the biggest change in structure for me, and if I have time, I can work on a bit of other games too. So you don't have any stomach issues or anything? Well, actually, I still had a lot of stomach problems. You did? And then they laugh. It's weird to see them laugh at that, but okay. Sakurai says, yes, a ton. So what do you do when these sort of things happen? I actually had a case of acute gastritis recently. Sakurai says, that sounds rough. When you've got symptoms like food poisoning, you definitely have to go to the hospital, right? I've had that situation once or twice before during development. It was like I got food poisoning from some oysters that I didn't eat. And then they go, even though you hadn't eaten any? Sakurai goes, it was like my food had to come in contact with them or something, but I cook my food thoroughly. Why did I get sick? So do you take time off when that happens? Sakurai goes, no, I don't. I get an IV drip and I go to work like normal. Are you serious? Sakurai responds, I guess I'm a hard worker. And then he has apparently a wry laughter. I'm a freelancer, so I don't have any strict rules on my time. As long as I can complete the game, I could show up to the office once per week, and I think it'd be within the realm of forgiveness. But instead, I make sure I come to work every day and write proper daily reports and such. I'm always working, but there's a lot of things that keep me in good spirits. And then he goes on to say, that reminds you when you said, I wonder if I'll ever get to take a break. Sakurai goes, oh, I did take some vacation this year for 3 days, December 22nd through the 24th. I don't think I could take a lot of time off around the holidays, though. We're still developing our DLC, so my staff would have to handle my share of the work. We're releasing Joker soon, and they won't be able to consult with me on him. Of course, we're talking about Sakurai's health and the way that he chooses to work. I think what's key here is that he chooses to work. There was a period back during the development of Super Smash Bros. Melee that he didn't take a day off for 13 months. And I'm not even talking like a day off in terms of taking weekends off. He didn't take weekends off either. He worked for, 365 plus, another 30 days. So 395 straight days. Sakurai has always been known as a legend in Japan and really in video game industry in general for being a workaholic. He just doesn't stop working. It's what he loves. It's what he wants to do. It's what he's passionate about. He just is constantly working. He doesn't like taking days off. He's not going to say that taking days off are lazy, but for him personally, it just doesn't fit his style of game development. Now, the concerning part is obviously when he's sick, he doesn't take care of himself. He does an IV drip and just goes back to work. And as someone who has dealt with various sicknesses and stuff over the years, that family members and other people go through it, sure, an IV drip is a great way to pep yourself back up and make you feel normal in the here and now, but an IV drip doesn't actually fix you, right? It gets you some nutrients that enable you to feel like you're normal again when you're unable to consume normal foods, but it doesn't get you the rest you need. It doesn't get you medicine that you might need to take, and there's just a lot of concerning things when I hear someone say that Yeah, I didn't take days off when I got sick. I just took an IV drip and went in. Oh, I only had 3 days off over the holidays because they were working on Joker, and if I'm not there, they can't consult with me on Joker. It's like, I get it. I get that this is Sakurai choosing to be this way. He openly admits Nintendo and nobody else makes him work this hard. That no one is putting these expectations on him. He puts the expectations on himself. And I think, calling him a workaholic, I think is maybe even an understatement. Because even, I know some workaholics out there. Heck, I've been that way at times. I've been on the grind for this channel. I've been on the grind at other jobs I have had. And the whole point of being a workaholic isn't just that you enjoy your work. It's that you're usually doing it for a purpose, right? To accomplish your task at work, obviously. And generally because you know that at some point you will take a vacation. Like an actual vacation, a week off, a couple weeks off, even if that's not going to be for a couple years, right? You're going to take time off so you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? So you worked super, super hard, you have this money, you have this and that, and now finally you get a chance to sit back and enjoy, at least for a little bit, the fruits of all that work you did. And unfortunately for Sakurai, he's the kind of workaholic that he's just not going to stop working. He's going to work himself maybe straight into his deathbed. And I'm not his doctor. I don't know what his health situation is. We know he's had issues with his hand and his wrist in the past. Obviously, he's been actually sick and then just going into work anyways. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know his medical background. But I do have concern when you see a developer openly touting and seemingly proud of the fact that no matter what is going on, he is going to work regardless of what's best for him. And I think that that should be alarming. That should maybe make Nintendo force him to have days off or something. It's hard because he's a contract employee, so there's only so much that you can control. But I don't think this sets a good example in a video game industry where people are worked to the bone, often without choice. Sakurai chooses to work as hard as he does, but out here in the West, we have developers that put in 80 to 100-hour weeks that get no off days. They can't see your family for months at a time. Crunch is just a real thing that exists, and they're forced into that. And while some probably enjoy the grind and enjoy it because they're workaholics, other people are like, eh. And here you see somebody who's a figurehead, who's a leader in this industry, openly touting, hey, look, like, if you're sick, just IV drip it and go back in, man. Like, that's not an excuse to miss work. I know that, he's not setting precedent for other people to do it, and he's just talking about his own personal experiences because he doesn't feel like he could take time off. But when I hear things like he only took 3 days off during the holidays, so he because they're working on Joker and he needs to be consulted on Joker, what I hear is that he has a lack of faith and a lack of trust in his team that he's working with, that they could work on Joker without him being present. That's what I'm hearing. And we know that he is such a perfectionist with his games. He's always been that way, dating all the way back to the Kirby days. Like, he has always been a perfectionist. So this isn't new, but it's concerning, especially as he's getting older. He's not the young man he once was. It's easier for us to grind ourselves to the bone, to work ourselves practically to death when we're 20. When we're 30, heck, even when we're 40, it's a lot easier to do that than when you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s. You're getting to that point where Sakurai's up in age to the point where he could consider actual retirement if he wanted, just like Reggie Fils-Aimé. But he's the kind of person that he's not, like, retirement, that's like a banned word in his vocabulary. He's going to be working until the day he dies. He's literally, even if he's bedridden and in the hospital, that man is going to be working. This is where I start worrying about Sakurai the human, because we all talk about how he deserves days off, he should take days off, but he doesn't want to. Like, it's all a choice. So you can't get upset at his choices, but I just feel like it's a bad precedent. And maybe that's just me. And again, I don't know Masahiro Sakurai. I've never met him. I don't know what his daily life is like beyond the fact that he talks about working till 10 p.m. every day. I don't really understand his mindset, and obviously he enjoys this, and he's doing something he enjoys every single day as much as he possibly can. I don't want to take away that joy from him. I want him to make sure he takes care of himself when he needs to. Go ahead and be a workaholic, man. Work yourself to the bone if that's what you love to do. I get it. I've been there. I love this YouTube channel, and I've done it on this YouTube channel for periods of time. But also make sure you take care of yourself. If you get sick, it's better that you recover than work through it. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I strongly feel that if you're sick to the point you're vomiting and you need IVs, like, it's time to rest and get better, because you'll be in a better mental state too and be able to make better decisions than you will when you're honestly not feeling good and probably have no business being sitting in front of a computer or talking to other people and potentially getting them sick too. It's I don't feel bad for Sakurai. Let me put it this way. I don't feel bad for him because he makes these choices himself. I want him to make sure he takes care of himself so he can make games for as long as possible. I want to see Masahiro Sakurai making games into his 90s, don't you? I think that would be wonderful. If he's truly enjoying it and wants to keep doing it till the day he dies, I'd love him to do it into his 90s. But if he keeps up the pace he's at now, I just don't know, man. I don't know. What's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? I don't know. And that's, I guess, probably my biggest concern more than anything. I'm not concerned or feeling bad for him, but on a selfish level, I want to make sure he's around as long as possible because he is getting up there in age. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. I think it's an interesting conversation. I've seen people on both sides of the fence. Some people like concerned for him and all that stuff. Some people saying, hey, whatever, he's a workaholic, he's choosing to do this. How can, who are we to judge? And again, it's his life, his personal life, and I don't like diving too deep into someone's personal business, but he's making choices to get us these games that I'm sure Nintendo would have no problem delaying a month if they needed to because he needed some time off. I think that I have this general concern, I think, for people, regardless of if I like you or not. You could be someone who hates my channel and has attacked me for days and called me fat and wants me to jump off a cliff, but I'm still going to worry about you as a person and worry about your health because I don't want people to just fall away and die. Like, that's not something I wish upon anyone, even people I don't like, because the people I don't like, even just because they might be bad for me in some ways, they could be massively positive for somebody else out there. And I want to make sure that that positivity, the people that get to enjoy that person, get to enjoy them for as long as possible. And maybe this is just me looking at my own mortality, right? As I'm on this health kick, trying to get healthier and lose weight, as I dealt with my grandfather passing away and my other grandfather having multiple strokes over the past couple years, as I've dealt with, my mother, she went sepsis a few times over the past 2 years, and I almost lost her. So maybe I'm just looking in the mirror and looking at my family and looking at my own mortality and just thinking, man, you can't just not take this stuff seriously. But I don't know. I kind of selfishly want Sakurai around longer. Plus, I think he would like to be around longer too, right? I assume that he's not thinking about dying. So I don't know. That's just me. Maybe he does take pristine care of himself, and this is nothing. And the IV was simply he was just dehydrated, so it wasn't a big deal. But I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. Do you think Sakurai works too hard by choice? Do you think he is a workaholic? Or maybe you disagree. Maybe you don't think he's a workaholic at all. I don't know how you guys define what a workaholic is. But for me, if he's not a workaholic, then I don't think anybody is. But whatever. Love you guys. See you guys in the next video.